Sometimes my clients ask me how to train their new interviewers. They want to start introducing members of their team to interviewing and start training them on this. This is a skill that takes reps. You can't learn this theoretically. It's a human to human relationship, just like for the same reason you can't learn recruiting theoretically. You have to rep the problem and get to understand the type of dynamics that you need to navigate as an interviewer. And so what a lot of people do is they just put people in the interviewers. And as a baseline, this isn't a terrible decision, but I've got a few tips for you on how you can improve the product or the training value that each interviewer has for the interviewee, or sorry, the new interviewer. And that is first to give them a job in the interview, to help them understand the weight of the decision that needs to be made in this conversation. The decision that needs to be made in the interview is not, should we hire this person? It's to think about the requirements of the job in high resolution and to start thinking about the skills, ability, integrity, character, judgment, emotional intelligence, intellectual capacity, and experience that would lead this person to being successful solving the problem in the way the company needs it solved. And so you have to break that down. If you send somebody in to make that decision on a macro level, frankly, the level of resolution they're going to be thinking at is not going to be helpful. And the quality of decision that they're going to make is going to be very poor. And this is why a lot of interviewers make poor hiring decisions, is they don't break down the minutia of their responsibilities and think about things in high resolution in detail through the interview process. They get a gut feeling and they rely on their gut to sort of tell them some level of confidence about the person. And I will grant that some people are better at this than others, but I've never seen this to be overall a reliable way that you should make $1 million hiring decisions. You should look at the details. So give the new interviewer a job, your job, and make it related to something that they're familiar with. So if it's a project manager or superintendent, make it related to evaluating something that is relatively consistent with their scope of work. So if they handle schedules, for instance, then make it about evaluating how the candidate thinks about schedules, or setting expectations about how the company manages schedules, or change orders or submittals, or one variable of this to give them a piece of the interviewing problem. And then before they go in, give them a debrief template. We'll do this for you if we're working for you, but you can do this on your own. Give them something that they're going to grade the candidate on, a rubric, so they understand what they need to be thinking about and the level of precision they need to be thinking about these qualities in the candidate. And then ask for that rubric before you discuss the interview. You should discuss the interview, but get their thoughts on the qualification level, pros and cons, what they liked, what they didn't like, questions they had, etc., their observations, before you talk about it, and then use that as a template to discuss the interview. This will help interviewers think about the candidate and the fit to the job at a much higher level of resolution and teach them real risk mitigation through the interview process. They keep repping this problem, they're going to be much better interviewers than if you're just throwing them into interviews and they're not really appreciating all of the blind spots that they might have. One of the worst assumptions that we see in hiring is that because somebody has done the job for some extended period of time, or that they're successful in that job, that they're then qualified to interview. And I will say flat out, this is not true. It's dangerous. It's not too different than the assumption people might have about, well, I've been driving for a long time, so therefore I must be a great driver. This is patently not true. There are young people that drive at a very high level. There's old people that are frighteningly dangerous. And this is true in interviewing as well. The challenge is really understanding what does risk mitigation look like in an interview, and how do we do that particular to this role, our leadership, our company, etc. And you're trying to inculcate your interviewer to solving that problem. Hope that's helpful to you. Would love to know other tips that you have in the comments about how you've trained interviewers in your company. Thanks.